Like, who's with God? Whoever's with God, come with me. And so, you know, some people come with Moses, and Moses is like, take up your swords and go through this camp and kill. Hey loves, it's Chellbee. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. You know I love you. Today, I am back with another video, just like I do every Thursday. And I'm here sharing my Thursday thoughts on faith. Previously, I lost the footage for this video. So if it comes out really late, forgive me ahead of time. I wanted to share because maybe it'll inspire you to read Exodus. So anyways, let's just hop right into it. Share my standout verse when I was reading Exodus 32, which is Exodus 32:8, and it reads, "They have turned aside quickly out of the way that I commanded them." And this is coming from the ESV version. So if you don't know anything about, Moses, just a brief overview. Moses has led the people of Israel who were slaves in Egypt out of Israel, and they are now on this journey to get to the land of milk and honey. It's a long journey, so they haven't made it there yet. But so while they are on this journey, they stop at Mount Sinai, and they pretty much have created a camp there, and God is talking to Moses on top of Mount Sinai. So while Moses is up on Mount Sinai talking to God, the people of Israel are down below because they aren't allowed to go up to see God. The people of Israel are down below, and they're like, where's our leader? Like, we need a leader. We need somebody to worship. Why is Moses taking so long? Like, when is he gonna come back? And Aaron, who is Moses' brother and kind of acts as Moses' mouthpiece at the very beginning of Exodus, he basically becomes the priest. He does become the priest of the Israelites. And Aaron is down below, and the people are just pretty much, complaining to Aaron, like, where's Moses? We need somebody to worship. We need something to worship. And they're like, let's worship something. And so Aaron is like, all right, y'all want to worship something? Well, give me your gold. And so the people give Aaron their gold, and they create a gold calf. And the people begin to worship this calf, and they're dancing and they're praising and just cutting up and worshiping this calf. All the while, Moses is on top of the mount with God, talking to God. And God sees and hears the people down below Mount Sinai acting like a nut. And mind you, God has already told them not to worship any other gods because he is a jealous God, and he wants to be the only God that they worship and believe in. And so God is like, you know what? These people are tripping. I told them not to worship anything. Y'all know, isn't it funny? I told them not to worship any other gods, and they down here, cutting up and worshiping a calf. Like, have they lost their mind? I'm about to rain fire on these people. I'm sick of it. And Moses pleads with God, and he's like, please don't let me go down there. Let me try to stop this. Let me do it, please, God. And God is like, all right, go down there, deal with them then, because I done had it. That's literally where God is where God is at with it. He's like, I done had it with these people. I done saved their lives, and they already, out here wilding out, doing what they want to do. Just gonna ignore what I told them to do. And you cracking up. And so Moses goes down there, and Moses is actually with Joshua, and him and Joshua go down there, and they get to the camp, and they're like, what is all this noise? Like, what is going on? What is all this hoopla? So Moses is mad. At this point, once Moses gets down there, he's pissed. He's like, I have had it. I am really about to let these people know, like, we aren't doing this. This is not what we're doing. And if you haven't read Exodus, you'll know, like, this is big for Moses, because at the very beginning, he was very like scared, almost very. He wasn't confident at all, and so for him to just be like, I'm about to take control and try to fix this and try to save, the people's lives who I think, really do believe in God. That's that's big. Like, he's come a long way in his journey. But so so Moses gets down there and he gets into the camp, and he's like, Rose is cracking up, y'all, because if she hears somebody laugh, she laughs too. He gets down there and basically he's like, who's with God? He just straight out asks them, like, who's with God? Whoever's with God, come with me. And so, you know, some people come with Moses, and Moses is like, take up your swords and go through this camp and kill them. Like, straight up, he's like, kill your neighbors, kill your brothers, kill them, you know. And they killed 3,000 people. Sorry, Rose done handed me a wipe. They killed 3,000 people. Like, to me, I was like, for me, it was like, can you say plot twist? Like, I was not expecting that. That just caught me so off guard. Like, and it was such a, like, I don't want to say casual statement, but it just, there was no lead up. It was just like, boom, they did. It's not funny, but it just, you know, when, as somebody who like enjoys reading and, you know, has read a lot of different stories, there's always such this big lead up to things like that, to death, you know, even if it's just the death of one person. When you're reading a book, you know, it's usually a slow lead up, and it was just like no lead up. Like, literally in like 3 verses, 3,000 people was dead. And I was like, what happened? Like, what now? And so 3,000 people are killed, and Moses goes back to the top of Mount Sinai, and he talks to God, and he basically says, like, look, I did it. But he's like, you know, God, I did it. We killed the people. You know, I've atoned for their sins. Please save their lives. Please don't kill them. Please allow this to be atonement for their sin. Allow this bloodshed of these 3,000 people to be atonement for all of their sins, you know, so that they can live and be the promised people that you said that they would be. And God is like, yeah, good. That's cool and all, Moses, but everybody is gonna have to pay for their sins on their own. And then God puts a plague on the people. And that's literally all that happens in 32. And it's, when I say I was just sitting here, I was just sitting here caught off guard. Like, when I finished reading that, I had to really sit back and be like, what happened? Like, did I miss something? Was there something else that happened in the story that I didn't see? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I realized when I was done reading, I know I'm laughing a lot because for me, this was just like a crazy story. But I think, like, once I was like really reflecting on it, I was just like, if you're somebody who's reading the Bible, or, you know, even know stories from the Bible, and you know about Jesus, or you spend a lot of time in the New Testament, and you don't really know a lot of the stories from the Old Testament, you're just not familiar with God moving in that way. And so I think that's what it was, because I've read a lot of the New Testament, and not to say that I haven't read the Old Testament, because I have read, you know, like, before I read Exodus, the only thing I read in only other books I read in the Old Testament was like Esther, Ruth, and Genesis. So reading Exodus has just been like an awakening. It's what it's really done for me, and this is why I think that Exodus, like reading Exodus and reading books in the Old Testament, is so important now. It helped me to appreciate Jesus and the sacrifice of him dying on the cross so much more, because I now understand that before Jesus, people were literally living by the law, which, you know, was the 10 Commandments. And if you didn't live by that law, and you didn't atone for your sins accordingly with sacrifice, you were just dead, you know, like you were just dead. Like you had that separation between you and God. And sometimes it would be a physical separation, like death. Sometimes it would be that you had to leave your people, like you were cut off from the people, which, I mean, pretty much is like a death. If you're cut off from everyone, you know, like, that's pretty much death, you know. So, like, it just made me appreciate it made me appreciate grace. It made me appreciate like the salvation that we have in Christ, and that being governed by grace versus being governed by law, which is what the promised people were governed by, is, whew, it's something different. And it's not to say that like I think I would just be mocking up and breaking all the commandments, but I just realized that it helped me to realize like what a strict lifestyle they had to lead, and how there wasn't like a whole lot of room for error in their life. And I'm so grateful for grace and salvation and redemption in Christ because of the stories in Exodus. Like, that has made me so grateful. But yeah, Exodus 32 was a trip. I laughed. I darn near cried. I was confused. But I get it. Like, the killing of those 3,000 people, like Moses was just trying to save as many people as he could. And 3,000 versus, like, I think it was supposed to be upwards of 100,000 people altogether, if I remember right. That's a small sacrifice to make. And he was just doing the best thing that he knew or could think of in order to keep that group under God's grace, and not even grace, but keep them as his promised people, and not have them be wiped out, because God said, like, I'm ready to throw fire down. Like, he was about to throw fire down on them until Moses pled with God. So my appreciation for Jesus is different now. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have not read Exodus, definitely consider reading it. And if you missed out on the Bible study challenge, do make sure to check out the blog. The online Bible study is still available. It will always be available on the blog. It's something I want to keep available. So even if you missed it during September, you can still hop on there and do it now. Everything is still posted. All of the videos, the questions, all of that good stuff is still posted, and so is the journal. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I definitely enjoyed talking to you guys about Exodus 32, and you guys know I will be back next Thursday. So in the meantime, in between time, please be safe and stay blessed. Bye!